Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Learn English Daily. I'm Sarah. I'm so happy you're here. Last time, I finished my first English class. I met wonderful people from different countries. I learned something important. I don't have to speak perfect English. I just have to keep speaking. Today, after class, a new adventure is waiting. Let's begin. We walked out of the classroom together. The hallway was busy. Students were talking. Some were laughing. Others were looking at maps of the school. Daniel looked at me. So, are you hungry? I laughed. Very hungry. I didn't eat much this morning. He smiled. I know a nice cafe. It's only a few minutes away. Aiko joined us. I'd love some coffee. Sophia smiled. And I'm hungry too. Daniel looked around. Should we invite Emma? Oh, yes. I smiled. She's downstairs. We walked toward the lobby. Emma was sitting on a chair near the entrance. She looked up from her phone. There you are. How was your class? It was great. I met new friends. Emma smiled. I can see that. Daniel waved. Hi. I'm Daniel. I'm from Brazil. Aiko. From Japan. Sophia? From Spain. Emma laughed. Wow. This school really is international. It is, I said. And everyone is very kind. Daniel pointed toward the street. Ready for lunch? Everyone nodded. The weather was beautiful. The sky was bright blue. A soft breeze moved through the trees. People were walking slowly. Some students were riding bicycles. Others were sitting outside with coffee. This city feels peaceful, I said. Emma smiled. That's one of the reasons I love it here. As we walked, Daniel pointed across the street. There it is. I looked up. The cafe had large windows. There were flowers outside. A small chalkboard stood beside the door. It said, Today's special, tomato soup, grilled chicken sandwich, fresh lemonade. Aiko smiled. It looks nice. It smells nice too. Daniel laughed. Wait until you try the food. We walked inside. The cafe was warm and cozy. Soft music was playing. People were chatting quietly. Someone was reading a book near the window. A young waiter greeted us with a smile. Hello. Welcome. Table for 5? Daniel answered. Yes, please. This way. We followed him to a round table near the window. This is perfect, Emma said. We all sat down. I looked around. The cafe felt comfortable. It wasn't crowded. It wasn't noisy. It felt like a place where people enjoyed spending time together. The waiter handed each of us a menu. Take your time. I'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. We answered together. I opened the menu. There were so many choices. Soups, salads, sandwiches, pasta, rice bowls, desserts, fresh juices, coffee, tea. I smiled. I can understand most of this. Emma looked at me. That's because your English is already improving. I laughed. I hope so. Daniel looked at the menu. I always order the grilled chicken sandwich. It's my favorite. Sophia smiled. I want to try something different every time. Eco nodded. Me too. I like trying local food. Emma looked at me. What about you? I thought for a moment. I'd like something light. And definitely coffee. Everyone laughed. Of course, Daniel said. We already know you love coffee. I laughed too. That's true. A few minutes later, the waiter returned. Are you ready to order? Daniel nodded. I'll have the grilled chicken sandwich. And an iced tea? Great. The waiter wrote it down. Emma smiled. I'd like the tomato soup and a green salad. Excellent. He turned to Aiko. I'll have the pasta and sparkling water. Perfect. He looked at Sophia. I'll try today's special. And fresh lemonade? Good choice. Then he looked at me. I smiled. I'd like the chicken wrap. For a second, I couldn't remember one word. I knew it. But suddenly, it disappeared. I looked at the menu again. I felt everyone waiting. My mind went completely blank. I smiled nervously. I'm sorry. I forgot the word. The waiter smiled kindly. No problem. Take your time. Daniel leaned toward me. What are you looking for? The potatoes? The long, thin ones. Daniel smiled. French fries. My face lit up. Yes. French fries? I laughed. Thank you. The waiter smiled. So, the chicken wrap with French fries? Yes, please. And a latte. Hot or iced? I thought for a second. Hot, please. Perfect. I'll bring your drinks first. Thank you. As the waiter walked away, I laughed. I can't believe I forgot the words French fries. Emma smiled. That happens to everyone, even in your own language. Daniel nodded. Sometimes I forget words in Portuguese. Sophia laughed. Me too. Aiko smiled. My English teacher always says, don't panic. Describe the word. Someone will help you. Emma pointed at me. And that's exactly what you did. I smiled. Maybe making mistakes wasn't as embarrassing as I used to think. Maybe. They were just another way to keep the conversation going. Outside the window, people walked past the cafe. Some carried shopping bags. Some were talking on their phones. A little girl waved happily at a dog walking by. The whole street felt alive. Daniel looked outside. I like sitting by the window. You can watch the world. I smiled. And the world becomes part of your conversation. He nodded. Exactly. Just then, the waiter returned with our drinks. 5 glasses. 5 smiles. Enjoy. Thank you. We all answered. I picked up my latte. It smelled wonderful. I took a small sip. This is really good. Emma smiled. I knew you'd like it. For a few moments, no one spoke. We simply enjoyed our drinks. Sometimes, silence with friends feels just as comfortable as conversation. Then Daniel smiled. So, I have a question. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? I looked at him, smiled, and thought carefully about my answer. Daniel smiled. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? For a moment, everyone became quiet. It was a simple question, but it made us think. Emma smiled. I already know my answer. Daniel laughed. You always answer first. She smiled. I know. I'd love to visit New Zealand. I've seen so many beautiful pictures. The mountains, the lakes, the nature. It looks peaceful. Daniel nodded. I've heard it's amazing. Aiko smiled. I'd like to see New Zealand too. Then she looked at me. What about you, Sarah? I looked down at my coffee, then smiled. I think I'd like to visit Japan. Aiko looked surprised. Really? Yes. I've always wanted to see Tokyo. And Kyoto. I'd love to see the cherry blossoms. Aiko smiled warmly. You should come in the spring. It's beautiful. Daniel laughed. I think we'll all start traveling together. Everyone laughed. What about you? I asked him. He smiled. I want to visit Italy. I looked surprised. Italy. He nodded. I've always wanted to eat real Italian pizza. Everyone laughed. And real Italian pasta. I laughed. I think you'll enjoy both. Sophia smiled. I'd love to visit Canada. Emma looked at her. My country? Yes. I want to see snow. Emma laughed. You can have some of ours. Sometimes we have too much. Everyone laughed again. The conversation felt easy, natural. Nobody was trying to use difficult English. Nobody was worried about making mistakes. We were simply sharing ideas. A few minutes later, our food arrived. The waiter carefully placed each plate on the table. The grilled chicken sandwich, the tomato soup, the pasta, the special of the day, and the chicken wrap with French fries. He smiled at me. This time, I remembered. Everyone laughed. So did I replied. The waiter smiled. Enjoy your meal. The food looked delicious. Everything smelled fresh. Daniel picked up his sandwich. Before we eat, I have another question. Emma smiled. You always have questions. He laughed. I know. He looked around the table. What's your favorite food from your country? Aiko answered first. Sushi. But not the kind many people know. There are so many different kinds. I hope you can try them one day. I'd love that, I said. Sophia smiled. In Spain? I love pajella. My grandmother makes the best one. Emma smiled. My favorite is poutine. Daniel looked at me. I've always wanted to try it. Emma laughed. You should? It's simple, but delicious. Then everyone looked at me. I smiled. My favorite is homemade lasagna. My mother makes it every Sunday. For a second, I wasn't thinking about English. I was thinking about home, about my family, about sitting around the table together. Daniel noticed my smile. You miss home? He said softly. I nodded. A little? It's exciting to be here, but I also miss my family. Emma smiled kindly. I think everyone feels that way. Aiko nodded. When I first arrived, I called my parents every evening. Sophia smiled. My mother still sends me pictures of dinner. Everyone laughed. Does she? Every day. We laughed again. It felt comforting. Different countries, different languages, but the same feelings. Daniel raised his glass. 2 new friends. Everyone lifted their drink. 2 new friends? We smiled and took a sip. For a moment, everything felt perfect. Then, something unexpected happened. The waiter walked back to our table. He was carrying another plate. He looked around, then smiled. Who ordered the spicy chicken burger? We all looked at each other. No one answered. The waiter checked his notebook. Table 7? Daniel smiled politely. I don't think that's us. The waiter looked confused. I'm sorry. Wrong table? He laughed. So, nobody wants a free burger? Daniel quickly raised his hand. I do. The whole table burst into laughter. The waiter laughed too. Nice try. But I need to take it to the right customer. Daniel placed his hand on his heart. I had to ask. Even people at the next table smiled. The waiter walked away. Still laughing, Emma shook her head. Daniel, you never miss a chance. He grinned. I thought it was worth trying. We couldn't stop laughing. That small moment made us feel even more comfortable together. Sometimes, friendship begins with something as simple as laughing at the same joke. After lunch, our plates were almost empty. Only a few French fries were left. Daniel looked at them, then looked at me. "You're not going to finish those?" I smiled. "No." He pointed at them dramatically. "May I?" I laughed. "Of course." He picked up one fry, held it in the air, and smiled. "I'll never forget this word again," he said. "French fries." Everyone laughed once more. I smiled. He was right. I was certain I would remember those words. For a very long time, the waiter returned with the bill. He placed it gently on the table. "There you go. No hurry." "Thank you." Daniel reached for it first. "I can pay." Emma smiled. "Nice try. We'll split it." Sophia nodded. "That's easier." Aiko agreed. "Yes." Everyone pays for their own meal. I listened carefully. "Split the bill?" That was a new expression. Emma noticed me thinking. "Do you know what split the bill means?" "I think so." "It means everyone pays part of the bill." "Exactly." She smiled. "It's a very common expression," I repeated quietly. "Split the bill." Daniel smiled. "You'll hear that phrase a lot." I laughed. "I'll remember it." A few minutes later, we walked outside. The fresh air felt wonderful. The sun was warm, but not too hot. People filled the sidewalks. Some were shopping. Some were talking with friends. Others were sitting outside cafes with coffee. Emma looked at her watch. "I have another class in 30 minutes. I should go." Aiko nodded. "Me too." Daniel smiled. "What about you, Sarah?" "I don't have another class today." "I was thinking about exploring the neighborhood." Sophia smiled. "I need to buy a notebook." "My English journal is already full." Daniel laughed. "Already?" She smiled. "I like writing. I write every evening." I looked at her. "Really? What do you write about?" "My day. My feelings. New words. And sometimes, my mistakes." I looked surprised. "Your mistakes?" She nodded. "Yes. I don't want to forget them. When I write them down, I usually remember the correct way." Emma smiled. "That's actually a great idea." Daniel nodded. "I might start doing that too." I thought about Claire's words. Write every day. Maybe she was right. Little by little, English becomes part of your life. Not because you study all day, but because you use it. Emma looked toward the street. "There's a small bookstore nearby. Would anyone like to come?" My eyes became bright. "A bookstore?" "Definitely." Daniel laughed. "I knew you'd say yes." "You already bought one book yesterday?" "I know." I smiled. "But I like bookstores. They're quiet and they smell nice." Everyone laughed. I understand, Emma said. So, let's go. We walked together along a narrow street. There were small shops everywhere. A bakery, a flower shop, a bicycle store, a tiny music shop with guitars in the window. Daniel stopped for a second. Listen. We all became quiet. From somewhere nearby, a man was playing the violin. The music floated through the street. People slowed down. Some stopped to listen. A little boy began dancing. His mother laughed. I smiled without saying anything. Sometimes, you don't need words. Music can say enough. Aiko took out her phone. May I take a picture? Of course, Emma replied. But don't forget to enjoy the moment too. Aiko smiled. Good point. She put her phone away. We listened for another minute. Then Daniel looked at me. So, Sarah, what's been your favorite moment since you arrived? I didn't answer immediately. There were so many memories already. The airport, the taxi ride, Emma, the bookstore, the cafe, my first class, lunch with new friends. I smiled. I don't think it's just one moment. It's the people. The people I've met. Daniel smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. Emma nodded. A city becomes special because of the people in it. I looked around. Just a few days ago, everything here was unfamiliar. Now, I knew the streets. I knew where my school was. And most importantly, I knew people who made me smile. Maybe I wasn't just visiting anymore. Maybe I was beginning to belong. At the end of the street, Emma pointed ahead. There it is. A small bookstore stood on the corner. Warm light shone through the windows. Colorful books filled the displays. A handwritten sign on the door read, Welcome. Come in and discover a new story. I smiled. Somehow, those words felt like they were written for me. I gently opened the door and stepped inside. I had no idea that the next book I picked up would lead to a conversation that would change my journey once again. The little bell above the door rang softly. A kind woman looked up from behind the counter. She smiled. Welcome. Please take your time. Emma waved. Hi, Maria. Maria smiled. Emma, it's nice to see you again. Then she looked at the rest of us. And your friends? Emma nodded. Yes. They're all new students. Maria smiled warmly. Welcome. I hope you enjoy your time in our city. Thank you. We answered together. The bookstore was peaceful. It smelled like paper, coffee, and old stories. Soft music played quietly in the background. Sunlight came through the large windows. It was the kind of place that made you want to stay. Daniel walked toward the travel section. Aiko found the photography books. Emma disappeared into the history section. Sophia picked up a small notebook. I slowly walked to a shelf that said, English readers, books for beginners, books for intermediate learners, books with short stories, books with everyday conversations. I picked up a small blue book. Its title was simple, A New Beginning. I smiled. It sounded familiar. As I turned the first page, a small piece of paper slipped onto the floor. I bent down and picked it up. It wasn't a bookmark. It was a handwritten note. It said, Every language opens a new door. Every conversation changes a little part of your life. There was no name, no date, just those words. For a moment, I stood there quietly. Maybe someone had left the note by accident. Or maybe someone wanted the next reader to find it. I folded the note carefully. Then Maria walked over. You found it. I looked surprised. You know about this? She smiled. Yes. Many years ago. A student left that note inside the book, he said. Someone else might need those words one day. I looked at the paper again. It stayed inside all these years? Maria nodded. Sometimes people borrow the book. Sometimes they buy it. But somehow, the note always comes back. I smiled. That's incredible. Maria looked at me. Are you learning English? Yes. I just started. She smiled. I can tell. I looked surprised. Really? She nodded. You have the same look, the same curiosity, the same excitement. I've seen it many times. I laughed. I hope that's a good thing. It is. She paused for a moment. Can I give you one piece of advice? Of course. She smiled. Don't measure your progress by the words you don't know. Measure it by the conversations you couldn't have yesterday, but can have today. I became very quiet. Yesterday, I was nervous to order breakfast. Today, I ordered lunch. Yesterday, I didn't know anyone. Today, I had lunch with friends. Yesterday, I was afraid to speak. Today, I laughed. I asked questions. I answered questions. I made mistakes. And I kept talking. Maybe I really was improving. Not because my English was perfect, but because I wasn't afraid anymore. I looked at Maria. Thank you, I think. I needed to hear that. She smiled. I think you needed to discover it yourself. I bought the little blue book. And before leaving, I carefully placed the handwritten note back inside its pages. Maybe another student would find it one day. Maybe those words would help someone else. Outside, the afternoon sun filled the street with warm light. Daniel was waiting near the door. So, did you buy another book? I laughed. Yes. I couldn't help it. He smiled. I knew it. Emma looked at the shopping bag. What's the title? I smiled. A New Beginning. Nobody said anything. Then Emma smiled. That sounds perfect. As we walked toward the bus stop, I looked back at the bookstore one last time. Only a few days ago, everything around me felt unfamiliar. Now, every street held a memory. Every conversation taught me something. Every person I met made this city feel a little more like home. I realized something. Learning English was never just about learning words. It was about opening doors to new places, new friendships, new opportunities, and maybe to a new version of myself. I smiled, closed my notebook, and wrote one final sentence before going home. Every day, I become a little braver. End of episode 4. Next time, Sarah receives her first weekend invitation. She thinks it's just a walk in the park. But one unexpected message changes the entire day. Will she understand everything? Will she get lost? Or will her biggest adventure begin? With just 3 simple words. Are you free? See you in episode 5.